Hi, my name is Preet, and today I'm excited to share with you some of our recent developments on zero-knowledge proof credentials. So ZKP credentials allow a credential holder to be able to selectively disclose certain elements of a credential to relying parties in a cryptographically secure manner. For example, businesses generally ask for proof of address for certain interactions with their customers, and this is typically done by presenting bank statements or utility bills. However, these documents contain a whole much more information that is highly sensitive and personal to your customer, such as their date of birth, how much money they owe, etc. As a verifier, it is in your best interest to only ask for data that you need to operate in order to maintain your reputation and also build customer trust. ZKP credentials allow you to do just this. Now, let's take a look at how easy it is to issue such a credential to a user's wallet, as well as create a presentation template as a verifier that only asks for information that is needed and nothing more. For the purposes of this tutorial, we'll be issuing a student ID credential and using it in a situation where we need to verify our degree. I'm also going to assume that you're familiar with issuing a credential using the MATTR OIDC bridge, so I'll only be highlighting the main differences between them. If you get stuck at any point, we have a very comprehensive guide on MATTR Learn that will walk you through all the steps you need in detail. Alright, let's get started. The first thing that we need to do is we need to create a new DID if you haven't already got one that has the key type of BLS 12381G2. Now, a DID with this key type allows you to generate a ZKP type credential, so you'd need one of those in order to do a credential issuance. So I'm just going to go ahead and press generate, and this gives me a longer DID right over here. Now, the way you can verify that this is if you've got a list of DIDs already, the way you can verify that it's a BLS 12381G2 key is scroll down over here into your type, and you're able to see the DID key type over here. Cool, so I'm just going to go ahead and paste this right over here where my tenant DID is, and I'll just keep that safe for future reference. Now we just basically go ahead and set up a credential issuer the same way that you're used to using the MATTR OIDC bridge, and that is by supplying that DID that we just created, and that's me putting it right over here. You can see that I'm creating a student ID DID credential, and it is it's got your name, your email, and it's got the educational credential awarded, which is the degree that I'll be specifying here. Now, my federated provider is set up in order to be able to present all of these information when doing the OIDC issuance to generate the credential. So make sure you have all of that set up beforehand. Cool. All I have to do now is just go ahead and press send, and this is going to generate a issuer for me. And I can basically copy this ID and go back into my QR code generator. Now, if you don't know how to generate a QR code, you can go to issue a credential. You can go to issue using the OIDC bridge, issue a credential, and right over here at the bottom, it's got all the steps that you need in order to be able to generate QR codes. So I'm just going to go ahead over here and paste in my issuer ID, and this generates a QR code for me. Alright, so now I'm just going to go ahead and pull up my phone, which has got the MATTR wallet installed right over here. And I'm just going to go ahead and open that and scan in. And I'm going to go and scan this QR code that we have right over here. Now, you're able to see that I've been presented with a credential offer, and if we look in it, we're going to see that we are going to get our name, our email address, and the degree that we are studying, in which case it's the educational credential awarded. So I'm just going to go ahead and press proceed to go ahead and claim this credential. And you can see that in my credentials tab, I now have a credential that has a very interesting banner right on top. It says that it's a privacy enhancing credential. Firstly, we can see that it's issued, it basically got in my name, my email, and my degree, but if you look on top over here, it says a privacy enhancing credential. Let's just learn more to see what it says. So this basically says that this credential is able to take part in ZKP verification flows. All right, so if you just wanted to do the credential issuance, issue a ZKP credential, that's it, you're done. It was that simple. So now let's look at how we can use this credential in a verification type flow. Now you can see that we've got our name, our email, and our degree, right? Now in a situation where I want to verify that this individual has a qualification that I need, I reckon I would need the name from the credential and the educational credential awarded. I don't believe that I need the email address associated with this credential. So with zero knowledge proof credentials, I'm able to do just this. Now I'm back in Postman, and in order to verify a credential, we need to create a presentation template. And you can do that by hitting this endpoint right over here on your tenant. And let's take a look at what our body is. Now, if you've done a normal sort of verification, you might be familiar with this layout. You've got your name, you've got your tenant domain. But the interesting thing here is this type, which is query by frame and not query by example that you usually would do. Now, what query by frame allows you to do is it uses JSON-LD framing to be able to generate a presentation template that tells the MATTR wallet to generate a credential that only contains the fields that you're asking for. If we look down here, this is pretty much basic. You need to provide a reason for why you're asking for that credential. In the context array, make sure that you add this URL to be able to support ZKP presentation requests. And your type needs to be a verifiable credential. Now, inside of our credential subject, you can see that I've put name and educational credential awarded. Now, if I wanted to ask for all three of the properties on the credential, I could also go ahead and put email in here. But because I'm not interested with the email, I'm just going to take that out. And we need to put this explicit true property inside of our credential subject. Now, our issuer, you need to add the DIDs of your trusted issuer, but because in this case I'm using the same tenant to issue and verify, it'll be the same issuer DID. And that's pretty much it. I'm just going to go ahead and press create, and this is going to give back a 201 created, and it's going to give back an ID. So now let's head back into MATTR Learn, and under verify a credential, you can go to this topic, which is obtain values from a ZKP enabled credential. And on that page, you'll see that we've set up a sample app that allows you to basically request for a credential using your presentation template. And this allows for a rapid prototyping so that you are able to test your configuration. And I'm going to use this for the purposes of our tutorial. Now, in order to obtain the sample app, basically click on this link and clone this Git repo. I've done that, so I'm just going to go into this over here, and you're basically going to have a .env file that you want to edit. So I'm just going to go ahead and go in there. All right, so in this env file, I've already set up my tenant and my verifier DID. And I'm just going to go in and copy my template ID from Postman that I had received. We're just going to go ahead and copy that, and I'm just going to paste it right over here. Now, in order to start this app, we need to call Npm Start, and you need to pass in your access token for your tenant. I'm going to go ahead and press send, and all this is going to do is it's going to generate a presentation QR code that I can now scan using my mobile wallet. I'm going to go back in and pull out my screen recording, and let's just go in and log in to the wallet, and we're going to go ahead and scan this QR code. Now on our phone, you can see that it's automatically selected this person verifiable credential. I can go in and press View, and you can see that it shows that my name and my education credential awarded will be sent. But more interestingly, down here, you're able to see that it says that the following information will not be disclosed, and that is the email. And that's exactly what we want, because we are only interested in the name and the degree. I'm just going to go ahead, go back and press Send. And it's just going to do some verification and send it right through. And you can see over here, we've received back our claims. And if you look, we've got our degree and we've got our name. There is no email. So basically what happened is that your mobile wallet basically recomputed a credential using only the claims that were requested, created a credential for it, and sent it through. And that's what we're seeing right over here. And that's it. There you go. It is this easy to be able to issue and verify ZKP-enabled credentials. If you want to learn more, or you got stuck at some point in this tutorial, head on over to learn.matter.global, where you can find a very comprehensive guide on how to issue and verify ZKP-enabled credentials. Thank you so much for watching.